This is Real Life with Deb Waterbury, a real show for real people with real issues. And now, here's your host, Dr. Deb Waterbury.
Hello, welcome to this episode of Real Life with Deb Waterbury. We are continuing in our Women in Business series, and I have with me a fellow entrepreneur. This is Jamie Randall, and I'm going to have her talk in a minute about the many things that she does and how she actually got started. And what you're going to notice, some of my clients not so much, my guests not so much, but some have been, where COVID seemed to be the place where a lot of these businesses began, because the whole thing of necessity breeds all kinds of opportunity.
Absolutely.
And so Jamie was one of those people that basically got started with social media. I'm gonna let you talk about it more in a minute, because the minute we start talking about things like TikTok, I have no idea what we're talking about. So I would be so dumb to try to even talk about that. I learned what TikTok was like a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
And even when my assistant Alex told me that you were an influencer, I was so embarrassed to even ask what that meant. I had no idea that there was such a thing or what that looked like. So anyway, I'm gonna let Jamie Randall talk about what she does. But first off, Jamie, talk about how you even got started on TikTok and stuff during COVID, during the quarantine.
Yeah, so kind of funny story. I was one of those people that said I would never get a TikTok ever. And I got a TikTok when the quarantine kind of hit. And I just was posting random things, just kind of like making people laugh. And then all of a sudden one video just took off.
Which video was it? It
was just me like recreating something that I saw about like trying to help other women. Mm-hmm. And I recreated it because I was like, man, this isn't good. I can do better. Pride. But I was recreating it, and then I saw that it took off. It got over 30 million views. What? 6 million likes. And I was on the news in New Zealand, news several times locally. And
how many million views?
Over 30 million. We're at 30.9 million right now.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So I had a bunch of people reach out to me. About their brands and like, help. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just post random videos for fun. But then I started researching it and seeing, okay, what is the science behind social media? And then I started saying, wow, you can market on social media. And it's huge right now. Everybody's on it because everything's shut down.
Right.
So that's when I started researching how to market on social media. And eventually I started getting social media clients that would reach out to me like, please run our stuff. We need you. And then so I started running their social medias and running mine for my own businesses.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, so it makes more sense to me when you say influencer and you have 30 million views on a freaking post, because I'm pretty sure that means you've influenced a few people. And I guess that, whenever my assistant finally took me aside and said, okay, you old woman, let me explain to you what this means, I understood. And now even I understand the importance of social media in terms of doing business. I mean, there's no such thing anymore, truly. There is, but less such thing as advertising on the TV.
Right.
Even on the radio or through your website. Everything is through social media.
Yeah, to be honest, we mute the commercials on the TV.
We're
like, oh, thank goodness, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, if the channel will let you. A lot of channels are getting smart and not letting you.
Exactly.
but I don't, even on Facebook, I've noticed that so many of the things, Instagram's same, it's becoming that way with Instagram for me. I don't have a TikTok account. I don't know. Because I'm having a hard enough time keeping up with just two things.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
But I'm learning to, I buy most of my stuff because I've seen an advertisement on one of those things. And I didn't, it occurred to me last Christmas that most of the things I bought because I saw an ad.
Absolutely.
Or I heard someone talk about it on one of those platforms. Mm-hmm. So, I've learned too that it just has become, and if it weren't for people like you that know something about that, because people like me don't know I don't even know the ins and outs of that. And I don't have time. I don't really care enough to take the time to figure out the science behind it. Yeah. But if you do, obviously it's something that will take off. So you did this during quarantine, and you dedicated it. If I remember, my assistant Alex told me you did some kind of fundraiser through TikTok too as well, right?
Yes. So around Christmas time, I did a Venmo challenge where a bunch of people would just Venmo me the money, and I would take that money. They were trusting me. I would take that money and go out into Tucson and feed people. Oh. So I made about 36 bags of food, just toiletries, clothing. And then I had companies donate saying like, hey, we want to donate this many bags of chips. So companies would just come in and just donate things to me. And I just went out in Tucson, and that's why I was on the local news with actually my neighbor. It's kind of crazy. But we went out and we just started giving out these bags around Christmas time. So we raised over $700 towards that.
Wow.
Within 3 weeks.
That is so cool. So, okay, so from your influencer TikTok thing.
Yes.
That has born you another business, entrepreneur business. What is that one? And that is like the helping people with social media, right? Or doing people's social media stuff. Yes.
So I will run, right now I have about 4 companies that I actually run the social media for.
Okay.
And I post for them, I create the posts.
Do you have a name of your company?
It's called Moments Captured by Jamie.
Okay.
So right now I create the posts for them. I have other companies where I consult them. Okay. So I'll meet with them weekly and say, hey, these are the trending sounds that you want to use for Reels or TikToks. This is what's going on right now that you want to get in on.
Okay.
And they create all of it. So they just pay me to help them with that.
Yes.
And then also I have people who just meet with me once a month, once a week, and just say, hey, I need help on how to better this or my brand or just kind of questions throughout there.
And then from that then, and I don't know if it's preemptory to mention this, you and I both are working on online courses. And so you're working on doing an online course.
Correct.
For helping people to do their social media, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it'll walk through just the basics of everything, what a post is, what a carousel is, stories, how often a post, and kind of the basics.
So good.
Yes, the basic psychology behind it for beginners who are starting out in their businesses. Because a lot of the beginners in their businesses can't afford to pay somebody else to do it.
That's right.
So if they can pay a one-time like minimal fee, a fraction of what they'd be paying a month.
And learn how to do it themselves.
Exactly.
At least to get started. When do you think that'll launch?
Hoping that it's done by mid-September.
Excellent.
End of September.
Good. Well, we'll make sure that that information, when that comes out, and actually I think by the time this video is out, it probably will be launched.
Probably so.
So all the information for that and what Jamie does, all that stuff's going to be underneath in the comments and in the posts as well. But even from that then, I found out about you through my friend Alex, my assistant Alex, who also has served in ministry with you and then knew you were an influencer and all those things. Yeah. But you were also a special ed teacher for a while.
I was.
How long were you doing that?
For 3.5 years. I was a special education teacher.
And for what age group?
Kindergarten through 4th grade. So I saw all over.
And you are you still currently working on your master's in?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Because I saw that you can't talk about Jesus with that master's, and I said, yeah, that's not gonna.
Yeah.
That's
Child
not gonna
psychology was where she was. Yes.
Right.
So, but you always wanted to counsel kids too, right? And so from that, because she was wanting to move from her special ed teaching into counseling and into it from a biblical place. Yes. She and I got connected, and she now works at my center, The Answer, a biblical counseling center here in Tucson, and she counsels children and teenage girls as well. Yeah. And so you have like this whole number of entrepreneurial things that you're doing. Yes. But you know, the beautiful thing though, Jamie, is that as you do all these businesses, they're all about Jesus. They all got their beginning there, and even your TikTok, explosion was about helping people, which is a Christ-like behavior.
Exactly.
So give me just kind of a rundown of how you are like trying to be purposeful in your moving all of this for the kingdom.
Right. So funny thing is, about 2 months before I went mega viral, I was praying, and I remember this very clearly. I was like, God, increase my impact, increase my influence. Because I know I'm not just meant to do this. Yes. So I said, increase my influence. And he told me, okay, you're not going to be teaching after this year.
Wow.
And I said, okay, that's scary.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, whoa. And then that happened. Right. And I saw people just flooding to me.
Yes.
And this wasn't even about counseling, but people saw there was little videos about Jesus on there. And they came to me like, hey, are you a counselor? Hey, do you do this? And they started to flood to me with everything that they were going through, just pouring it out and saying, I just need somebody to listen to me and just to love me and to just to know that somebody's there.
Yes.
And so that's what I do with that. And then also helping people with their businesses. Like, there are some businesses that's like an interpreter business, for example, and they do it for the church.
Yes.
So helping them increase their impact too. And it's going to create a domino effect.
Yes, it is. So, and you know what I love about your leaning into the Lord there is that we often think that we're not going to make it in business, especially as women. unless we make our way, unless you literally, plow through and make your way. Because that's what the world tells you. Exactly. That you got to plow through, make your way, and then you're going to be able to be successful in whatever business you want. And the truth of the matter is, you just decided to do a video to help people, which the Lord then caused you to impact more people. And then you put a post, was it on TikTok, that said you wanted to go into biblical counseling or something like that? Instagram. And then that's what Alex saw. And Alex knew that I was looking for a counselor for children and told me about you. And then the Lord brought you here. And now you're impacting girls and children all over this city. It's an amazing thing if we'll just not feel like God's success is measured the same way that the world's, because it will look the same. You can still be like mega successful and continue having more businesses and be successful in all of those. But do it through the Lord, and the world will see the same thing, but you got to it in a way that is contra everything the world. You didn't plow over a soul. You just literally leaned into the Lord, and then He increases your measure.
Exactly. And that's the thing too, that I was telling Alex the other day, wow, I used to worship money. And then when God took that away from me, all I had was Him. And that's all I could do. I'm like, okay, God, you told me I need to do this, so I'm going to do it. But I'm scared. Like,
exactly, of course.
Oh gosh, help me.
It is scary.
And then we have to lean in even more to Him. And that's when He says, hey, you're really trusting me? Here's you go.
More.
Exactly.
It's the parable of the talents. That's what it is. He just increases your measure over and over again the more you are faithful and trust Him with what He's given you. And not try to plow through and get things that He hasn't given you, because if you'll trust Him, He will give you more than you ever thought to ask for. Always. And that's biblical as well. That's actually scriptural. I think that what you're doing is a great example of that. And you're young. I mean, how old are you? Do you mind if I say?
Just turned 26.
Yeah, so she's a child.
A little baby.
She's young and already doing all this entrepreneurial stuff, because even at your age you learned to just lean into the Lord. I wish I'd learned at 26. I was being such a bad girl. But as I've even learned, I mean, I'm almost 60, but in the midst of learning that, I mean, the Lord has increased my measure as well, and I get to run 5 businesses right now. But all of those businesses only began, same as yours did, because I stepped back and said, do you want me to do this? I don't know how this is going to work. I have no idea what to do. I don't even know what I'm doing. But if you say do it, I'll do it. And I'll just trust you. I'm scared to death, but I'll trust you.
Do it scared.
Do it scared. It's obedience. And that is the Lord's love language.
I was just going to say that. The Lord loves obedience. And when we are obedient, even in the little things every day, He's going to say, here's a little bit more.
Here's a little more measure.
Here's a little more.
Yes.
It's going to get harder and harder, but it's going to grow your faith more.
Yes, absolutely. And then the measure gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It seems like it'll be harder, but the more you trust Him with, and the more He comes through, it's easier to trust Him with more, and then more, and then He gives you more and more. It is God's economy. That's the way He works through this. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Did you have a giveaway in this? Okay, I wasn't sure. I don't know how we'd give anything away from you.
Exactly. I'm like, I can give you my love.
Exactly. I was thinking, I don't know how we're having a giveaway for all these things that are actually in social media. But we will have all the information underneath, because this class, I think, I mean, if I didn't already employ people that were much younger than me to do these things, I would take this class. And I might still take it anyway, because I don't know what they're doing, and maybe I should know what they're doing. But that class in and of itself, the counseling, all those things are great, but that class to teach people the basics of social media, man, sister, that is so necessary. So we'll have all that information underneath. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, just underneath this post or underneath this video, put those comments. We'd love to get your questions to Jamie, or any comments you have about the show. God bless you. See you next time. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Real Life with Deb Waterbury. I hope it's been a blessing to you as much as it was to me. If you want any of my books or information on articles or any of my speaking engagements, you can go to my website at debwaterbury.com. God bless you.